I don't know if all of you saw the comic book knife fight going on between artist Afua Richardson and artist Jason Pearson on social media, most specifically Facebook. What they're saying is that Afua Richardson was posting some pictures and sketches that they've been doing, and Pearson apparently went onto her Facebook timeline and started kind of complaining about how a lot of new comic book artists just don't pay their dues. They're Johnny-come-latelys. They're just here because comic books are popular in movies and stuff, and he had to pay his dues, and, you know, he did his 30-year career and everything. And then everyone just kind of started piling on this guy. You can go check it out if you want, but I'm going to show you some of the screenshots specifically of what they were saying to each other. There is no actual proof of what Jason Pearson said on her Facebook timeline. Apparently, it was all deleted. I didn't actually see any of it, so I actually can't confirm that that happened, but apparently that was the impetus for this comic book artist knife fight, dick measuring contest, if you will. What's insane is people are acting like Afua Richardson is like the most prolific comic book artist in the world, has just been doing comic books for 17 years straight. While her comic book genius with writers Mark Bernardin and Adam Freeman did win the Top Cow 2008 Pilot Season Award, she essentially had no comic book work to speak of again until 2016, right in the middle of the popularity of the MCU when they were having billion-dollar movies popping off left and right. And really, from 2016 to 2017, she did, check this out, 12 variant covers for Wildstorm, All-Star Batman, Captain Marvel, Totally Awesome Hulk, X-Men 92, World of Wakanda. She also did interior work on one backup story, not even the full issue, on one of the World of Wakanda issues. But that is pretty much all of her mainstream comic book work to speak of. She had a comic book come out in 2008 that won an award, and then she did some covers for the most part for a 2-year period between 2016 and 2017. It hasn't really been a comic book artist since. I imagine that's because she's a commercial artist and realized she gets paid better probably to do like greeting cards or maybe illustrate a story or poems and stuff. She's certainly done that type of work, but not exactly a prolific comic book worker. Whereas you look at Jason Pearson's career, he had like 22 years of prolific work in mainstream comic books. We're talking, yes, he was doing covers, but he was doing interior work from the NDC, DC, Marvel. He was doing a ton of work all over the place. Now, he hasn't worked a ton in mainstream comics really since 2012, but Jason Pearson, for 30 years, has absolutely been a part of the comic book industry, paid his dues, and he has a point. He stepped in a trap, and really he has no one but himself to kind of blame for this. She put the hook out and he bit it and she reeled him in, and everyone's called this guy an a-hole now. So let's check out what happened on the Facebooks between Afua Richardson and Jason Pearson. They went at it, folks. Allegedly, after deleting those posts on Afua Richardson's Facebook page, which I cannot confirm because I haven't seen them, he went to his own Facebook page and decided to vent. This is what Jason Pearson had to say. "I'm tired of wannabe outsiders joining up in my comic book industry without earning it, never being through the ups and downs, the ins and outs, claiming they are one of us because comic book movies are popular nowadays. Please, please. I go back to the days when comic books weren't popular and I had to fight boys and be ridiculed by girls because I still had comic books in my backpack. When one had to put his or her rage down on paper, pencils, inks, lettering, and or computers in the early days to settle themselves down while everyone else was laughing at you. Ain't scaring you off, newcomers. Don't be scared. Join the club if you're true to storytelling and not because of popularity. I'm a nobody in the pop culture of comics, but earn yours through sincerity before you claim you're better." I think we can all recognize that as a rant of a man that is very frustrated with the comic book industry, of putting 30 years in and maybe not getting out of it what he expected, and then seeing a lot of Johnny-come-latelys, people trying to jump into the comic book industry because of the popularity of the movies and everything's licensed and market. And it appears that there's a lot of money to be made with people claiming they were always down from day one, and Jason Pearson saying, screw that. If you want to be a part of this, go and earn your stripes. Go put in the time with the pencils and inks and the drawing board and your Procreate if you're doing digital art, and really become a part of the comic book industry. Obviously, he's very frustrated, and he did, allegedly, go to her Facebook page and kind of pick a fight. But then he deleted it, because apparently he didn't want that out there, and went to his own page and decided to vent off. But Afua Richardson decided to follow him over there and pick a fight of her up. Well, I ain't new. It's really cute of you to come to my page and telling me what I didn't earn when I know after falling down the stairs and I couldn't afford to go to the hospital, finish my Hulk cover. I used to respect you, man, but something is off in your mind, and maybe you just need to make art instead of worrying about what other people are doing. We pave ways for the future, not condemn them. Pearson replied, "From my point of view, you are new to the industry. I joined in 1990 when I was 19. I'm 32 years in this game. You, how long?" Afua Richardson, "So what? You're old. I couldn't be in the industry in 1990 because I was 10 and in classical music. The industry isn't yours, it's everyone's, and maybe you're just salty. 17 years ain't 7 days. As I pointed out earlier, 17 years in the comic book industry, I guess if you want to start at the start date, but it's not like 17 continuous years or maybe 2 continuous years of actual comic book artwork. And I think that's what's frustrating Jason Pearson, because he put in the time and he was trying to be true to the industry and trying to grow it and be a part of the comic books. And you had an opportunity. You won the pilot season. You apparently left, did some commercial artwork, decided to come back and try comic books out once again. And once again, you kind of left mainstream comic books again. I think that's what happened here. And that's why he was so frustrated. Should he have said, it's my comic book industry? I don't think he's saying it's his personally. He's saying it's his because he earned his place in it, because he put in the hours upon hours of work to be a part of comic books. And I think in his mind, maybe Afua Richardson hasn't done that, although he does have an apology later, not surprisingly. Afua Richardson did come back and say, Neil Adams, David Mack, Cully Hamner, Sanford Green, Alberto Ruiz, those people vetted me. Just because I didn't go through you doesn't mean I didn't pay dues. What exactly do you think I did to draw all these covers? Shake my ass? Bat my eyelashes? Well, when Marvel did their Indigenous Voices run with Native American artists doing Native American characters, maybe they just forgot your name. Insulting the man because of his heritage and Marvel Comics not reaching out to him when he probably should have been associated with that project. But you'll notice she introduces right here the idea that perhaps she got her artwork based on her looks or maybe the way that she was flirting with people. Jason Pearson never introduces this idea to the equation, but this moment in and of itself is the hook that was being baited and thrown in front of him. And unfortunately, for Jason Pearson, he actually took it, and this is what he had to say. Sure, kid, if you say so. I was vetted by Neil Adams and much better for my actual artwork and storytelling. But go ahead and keep claiming that it was your artwork and not your beauty that got the thumbs up. Yes, I'm old, man. This industry is mine. I truly earned it. Read the post on my page. This is a prime example why it's probably best to just stay off social media. There are a lot of times when I would start a tweet, I'd write it, and then I would see it, and I'm like, you know what? It's probably not even worth it. I wouldn't have these kind of debates or arguments out on social media. They're basically there for everyone to see. And there's a good chance that you're going to be made an asshole. And like I said, he took the bait. He bought the premise and decided to comment on it.
Now you see now, you done fucked up, you know that, don't you?
And this was the moment when everyone decided to turn on him. You're going to have to go check out the Facebook post yourself to see what people had to say. Mark Wade and others were in there saying mean words to him and calling him mean names and stuff because he bit it. Like, you shouldn't have done that. He never introduced her looks into the argument. She did, and he just happened to run with it. That was a bad mistake. And he ended up having, obviously, to apologize. No shocker in this one. Well, I spoke my mind about the industry and lost another friend. All apologies to Afua Richardson. Sorry for the thunderstorms in my head about this game. Go ahead, young lady. Make your own storms. I'm learning to shut the F up, but the calm waters are just so scary. I'm blaming it on climate change. Jason Pearson, I wish I could tell you that apology will smooth everything over and maybe people will give you another chance. But this is 2022. This is comic books, and I'm sorry, you're probably going to be treated like a pariah for quite some time within comic books. That's just kind of the way it is. Although you had a point. Like, she did 12 covers in a 2-year period. She had a comic book back in 2008. It hasn't really had any extensive interior work. If you look at Jason Pearson's career in comparison to Afua Richardson, it's hard not to deny what he's saying, that yes, he did go out there and pay his dues. He put in the hard-earned work. He probably was eating ramen and Vienna sausages for weeks and months on end, while Afua Richardson was out there doing commercial art and decided to come back to comic books and give it another try. But in the end, the PC police got to him, and he's been found guilty. So I imagine it's not going to be a nice time for Mr. Pearson on social media and comic books. I do want to invite everyone to check out this video I made a little over 2 years ago with Jeremy. He used to be a regular contributor on the channel. I don't even know where he is anymore. He got kicked off of Twitter. I just never see him anymore. Jeremy, if you're still out there, if you're still watching the videos, thank you very much. I do miss you, but definitely check this one out. Oldie but goodie, talking about all the Twitter drama and everything else that goes with it. And if you're on a mobile device, there's a link in the video description.